ahead, Matt.
Okay. Hi there, Matt here. Welcome to the kickoff call for 30 days of creative journaling created by Marva Midkiff, who is joining us from the art room. Just accidentally dumped a handful of creative juju on the floor, and she is picking that up. So I just want to welcome you all to this creative journaling session. We were just kind of speaking to what this process looks like, which of course is unique for each of us. And I have just recently been doing the process that Marva has been doing for years now, that is art journaling, creative journaling. And it is so magical. And I'm so looking forward to seeing what Marva has been creating for us with this spring edition as we tune into the energy of spring, pull the inspiration from nature, and observe and create and see what comes through. It's one of those things that you just can't quite put the words to, because it is it is something else. So I am really looking forward to journaling, creating, and collaborating with everyone and seeing what comes through for each of us. This is a daily session that we have the material for, that Marva has been creating, that we have affirmations and quotes and creative journaling prompts and intentions and just great insights to inspire what to at least maybe start putting on the page, and then from there seeing what comes through. So with that, hi Marva.
Hi. Back from the floor of the art room. Um, wow. Yeah. I did a lot of fussy cutting of I had immersed myself in beauty, and so I was doing a lot of fussy cutting around things, and ended up with a bunch of pictures of beauty.
Nice.
Anyway, so this will all go on. That's a fun one. This will all go on my journal page when I finally get it laid out in a collage. But welcome everybody to the Creative Journaling Spring Edition. We were just getting on a little roll with some of the magical components of creative journaling, and that has been my, like Matt said, my outlet, my creative outlet for several years now. And it is not only a healing journey, but also and I say healing as a kind of homogenous word, because what it basically does is bring me back to homeostasis within my own being. And so if there is, let's say that I am too much in my head on a day, or I am in a bit of physical turmoil, some pain, or my body is older than I think it should be, I have those days where I'm like, oh, I see. I can't get up off the floor as easily as I used to. So, and that's painful. So now then I go into a little war in my head about age and my body not doing what I want it to do, and all of these things. So that turns into a little bit of a conflict within myself, but it throws me out of balance. And so the creative journal is my way of bringing balance back into my being, because with this modality, I can release the things that don't serve me at any moment, and I can bring all the parts back into more of a balanced state, so that I'm a little bit more able to address them. And that is all practiced curiosity, observation, and then a clear intention to do just that, to heal, a clear intention to heal. And this is the way that I have found that it works regularly. It works with a sense of fun, with color, with just enough excitement to keep you coming back all the time. and and it really is kind of a magical state of healing, and you get to be the operator and the healer of your own spirit and your own body and your own mind. And to me, that is priceless, a priceless activity at that point. You probably are noticing that I'm stumbling all over my words right at the moment because they're all jumbled up inside my head. And that comes from trying to, feeling a bit overwhelmed as I'm trying to put my thoughts into an order that's understandable. And I continue to do that until 1:30 in the morning. This is what happens. This is called sleep deprivation. But all for a good cause. I'm so grateful to be here with all of you. And I don't know what else there is to say about that, Matt. I just don't.
That's great. There's plenty more, I would say, if you're watching this and you want more to hear about that. Marva has written up lots of what the creative journal can look like, what kind of supplies you need, just the whole process in her art room. So plenty more to dive into over there. And
here's something that might be fun just for a second. Let's look at this. We've talked about if you have watched any of our art room videos, you have heard us mention at least the power of a foundation. And let me show you this. Okay, there is the foundation. So basically, as you're looking around on this thing here.
Wow, that is gorgeous.
Yeah, I don't think I want to lay anything on that.
That's what I was thinking. Like, that's not a foundation. That's a full-on completed art piece.
It really is. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, oh, wow. That's so, because in the background of this foundation is comic pages, so that I've torn into small squares here, and you can kind of see. Let me see if I can find my finger with my phone. There it is. You can kind of see all of the areas where I've glued it all into the journal. But, oh, cool.
That is gorgeous.
And then it kind of organically just took on its own colors. But there were such bold colors in the background on the comic page that I covered it up pretty well with gesso, and then just started kind of wiping paint on there with my hand. Yeah, I think that one's going to have to set for a while because I kind of like it just the way it is. So anyway, foundation pages. Before this comic book part was laid down, and there's a lot of information about foundations in the art room. But the power of the foundation is several fold. It's like its own onion. And let's see if we can find a blank page here. So basically what we do when we lay our foundations is we take our nice big blank journal page, and remember that what we're attempting is a balanced state of being, because we feel more safe when we're balanced. We feel whole when we're balanced. And from that balanced state, we can create create our day, our week, our month. We're mostly interested in what's happening right here in this moment on this page, but to pull ourselves into that balanced state of being so that we have a better operating platform. We use our creative expression to release what's not serving us. And so what I like to do is take my blank sheet and anything that so what did I tell you guys this morning? Overwhelm. Let's see. Let's do this. So basically we just write out anything that is not serving us. And then once we have all of that written out, we take our foundation pages. We release all of what we just wrote out to the universe, allowing the universe to handle that as it will, knowing that it's working for us. Maybe not with the lessons that we think we need to learn, but definitely the lessons that we do need to learn. And it's always working for us and with us in that endeavor. And then we just lay our foundation over the top and release all of that overwhelm, or that whatever's causing the resistance, or whatever healing needs to happen. And then also at the same time, we can also put on that same page what we feel as we're putting these words down, what we feel would bring us into that state of balance, and also some messages for other people's healing, or any goodwill that you would like to send out to anybody else. Because really, what are we? We're energy, and all of our energy is connected, and as well as every other energetic being on the planet. And so in this fashion, we can bring our own energy, heal our own energy, balance our own energy, and also send that same force to anybody we want to, anywhere we want to. But I find that this is a very powerful method of freeing your mind up so that you can find yourself then in a state of balance and oh, there's another good background. You can find yourself in a state of balance and begin to express the colors and the pictures and the healing that's in your heart, if that makes sense. I know I'm kind of rambling, but yeah. Oh, there he is.
Yes.
That was a granddaughter page.
Nice. Wow, those are so beautiful.
So that's basic. Oh, now that one is hysterical.
This is my story of being. I am awakening.
Yeah, look at me dancing there.
Woo!
I tell you what, that's a hoot. So what we were about to discuss when Matt turned the recording on is we have a tendency once the sun comes out and we see the spring sprouting up around us, we have a tendency to want to all of a sudden spring into action. And that's good for, I don't think that's a sustainable state of being. It's great to spring into action, and it's necessary to spring into action. But I think that we can become more balanced if we move into action from a balanced state of being. And so that's what our creative expression allows us to do, is to bring ourselves into a state of balance so that we can set our intentions and get clear on the person we want to be as we're living in the world. Free up some of the conditioning and old patterns that might be working in the background. When you start paying attention to all of this, the very first thing that you notice is that your relationships with the people that are around you become more fluid and easier, that you become a little bit more connected to the people that are around you. And that feels really good. Because that's where a lot of the pushback and the resistance comes from, reacting to just our daily life and the people that we're around and the situations that we find ourselves in and all of that. So anyway, I invited everybody to bring their journal, at least some kind of journaling equipment with you. Here's one thing that I like to do if I don't have my whole setup with me. I just take a sheet of paper and throw down some color, just kind of randomly. And then I take this whole thing and I tear it into foundation paper. So instead of using a So now I have a bunch of squares of foundation pages that I can use for my next background.
Nice.
So that's what I'm going to be putting down, and I'll show it to you when I get it all glued on. Matt, you got some wisdom? I know you do.
Marva, what's that?
I said, got any wisdom to impart about?
I would just, I think maybe I would just, let me just show you kind of like what's been working for me, because I think it is very important, as you mentioned. I don't know, I think maybe before the call recorded, is through this process of observing and creating is to make it your own, make it something that we are inspired to show up to. I think for anyone who might be new to creative journaling, looking at what you've created might be a little daunting. And so let me just show you what I've been creating. This is initially started from Julia Cameron's The Artist's Way, that she asks us to do in her process, the morning pages, which is, I would say, just kind of like a writing version of what you're doing, Marva, in the sense that we are just showing up, giving ourselves the time to process whatever needs to be processed, whatever we want to air out, whatever it is that we want, maybe feel like is out of balance, that we need just to put some loving awareness into. That I think, from my experience, when we do that, most of the time it just naturally course adjusts and it just takes the time and intention to look at whatever wants to be looked at. And sometimes that just requires a little bit of listening first. So sometimes I just start with, I'll come to my page and see my page this is not meant for art. And so I guess I just wanted to show this for anyone who might not have all the tools necessary. I think this process could be done in sand. I think just showing up and letting yourself express whatever needs to be expressed for you, for me, is kind of like what I do. I'll just write whatever I want to write. And what I love about this new edition of adding art over top of our foundation is you get to cover up what you wrote down. So if there's some nitty gritty, gnarly stuff that you're processing that is only meant for you, you can put it out and get it outside of yourself to be able to observe it, and knowing that it's going to be covered up and essentially wiped away. And so just wanted to show a little bit of my recent process of transforming what was morning pages, stream of consciousness, noticing the critic come up and noticing when my pen stops, and just kind of moving forward. And just, it is quite meditative in the sense that just noticing how I write, and then what I'm scared to put on the page and why, and all of those questions just surface. And so it is just the process of observing, leaning into resistance, and then breakthroughs happen randomly. I'll be talking about French toast, and the next thing I know, I'm like, oh, that's why I'm stuck in this one area. And then the process of then introducing color and shapes and whatever it might be, for me, has been a really fun way to continue the observation and continue the processing of whatever it might be. So just showing this you don't have to be an artist to do this at all. It's really just a process of, I feel like maybe just like an extension of yourself from an observable perspective. And it is nice to be able to put something that maybe feels like I keep running into resistance into, or something that is just like challenging, that my mind is trying to figure out or whatever. And then I put it on the page, and then either a breakthrough happens or not, or I'm like, oh, I don't even need to keep trying to figure that out. That's not something to be figured out, or whatever it might be. It's just a wonderful process to be able to give myself just the time to do this. And I'm very new to this process, so I don't have too much to say on that other than make it your own. It is certainly, you can get so much from just 10 minutes. And for me, what I'm noticing is if I just have more of a consistency around this process, whether it's 10, 15 minutes a day, as opposed to 2 hours once a week, once a month, I feel like the consistency of showing up and letting stuff move through is quite powerful and naturally will become your own just by giving oneself the time to play and observe. And this is such a great way to do that. So, yeah, those are some thoughts.
That's beautiful. I knew you'd have some wisdom wrapped around that. Yes, so basically what we're doing right now is we're just laying a foundation over my sense of overwhelm. I'm attempting to, whenever I'm attempting to use technology in a broader sense than I'm used to, I have to go through these periods of feeling overwhelmed for a while until it becomes a natural state of being for me. And I notice with small children right now, they seem to be born with the information they need to understand technology, and I wasn't born into that. Not as an excuse, but my brain isn't wired into the technology thought field. So whenever I have to learn something technological, I kind of go into a uncomfortable state of being for a while until it all becomes it never becomes clear to me, but it does become doable. So, rather than get myself all uh, tied up in, what I wish I knew, uh, start. I don't want to start fighting with the technology. I just want to put them, and I can more easily do that from a more balanced state of being. So this balances me out right here. This is just like Matt was saying, this process is meant if while you're creating you find yourself in a state of perfectionism or comparison, because you're not trying to match me, you're not trying to match what Matt's doing, because we both have a different operating system and you have your own, and your ability to authentically bye Roxana, love you.
Bye. Thanks for joining.
Yep. You will find your own way. And I don't want to steal Julia Cameron's beautiful title for her thing, but you will find your own artist's way. And this is all part and parcel of the same concept.
Mm-hmm.
That we have a tendency to roll around in our head to the exclusion of using our tools that sometimes aren't in our head. They're in our heart. They're in our gut. They're placed strategically all throughout our body. And we do have a tendency to bypass all of the information that our body's trying to tell us, that our heart is trying to tell us, that our surroundings are trying to tell us, and we get all locked in the thought process. And this is freedom from that constant mind chatter. You just devote yourself. And also what you were saying, Matt, about the consistency is so important to this process. It's not, you're not asking that much out of a 24-hour day to sit down, bring yourself into a moment of creative expression is not much to ask, even if you're really, really busy. You know, somewhere in there, you know, if you at all have binge watched Netflix or watched a YouTube video or scrolled Facebook for longer than 10 minutes, then somewhere in your day you could find 10 minutes to honor your own homeostasis, your own creative expression. And that's what we're doing here. Is we're not interested in an artful outcome. Okay. Phone call.
Nice. Add him to the call. That'd be a cool feature.
Yeah, I wonder how we could do that. I'll let you think about that one. Out of my wheel.
I just want to second what you're kind of saying about it being a meditation.
An emergency. I need to check.
Yeah. Just in the sense of if you've practiced any sort of meditation, let's just take traditional Vipassana, for example, where you maybe just tune into your breath, and that practice of noticing the thoughts come up and just noticing from the objective perspective, the witnesser of the thoughts. And that's meditation. And this for me has helped me bring my meditative practice to a more realistic, I don't know, but realistic isn't the right word, but a more applicable place where even while I'm doing my art pages, my journaling, I have the choice of what thoughts and feelings stick around. Ideally, none of them, because it's really nice when there's not a lot of that going on. And that's, for me, been the practice. Like this page that I'm working on now, this was cool because I just got to flip back through my morning pages and read through. And on this day in particular, I just was inspired to read about the polarities of just asking questions. Does love need hate to exist? Would I know love without hate? Could I give love without knowing hate? You know, I was just like asking those kind of questions for whatever reason. And just that this process of like tangibly bringing some sort of mindfulness to those thoughts is a whole nother, it might be easier than a sitting meditation for some, and it might be, I would assert it would be a wonderful addition if you have any sort of mindfulness practice. Yeah, just to be able to I mean, this kind of limits what we're doing, but just the practice of noticing when I'm not being intentional with how I'm focused and how I'm spending my time. It's always a good opportunity to be, oh yeah, why am I showing up today for myself for these art pages? What am I processing? What is the life that I'm creating for myself in this moment? What do I want to create? What do I want to let go of? All of the beautiful things. And so thank you, Marva, for introducing me to this new practice. It really has been a sacred time in my morning to be able to wake up and have more clarity with how I want to spend my time in the day. Simply by writing, for me, what it looks like right now is just writing 2 pages like this. It takes me about 5 to 10 minutes. And then I pull out these watercolors because I'm currently very interested in this medium. And knowing that this isn't art for someone else, this isn't to sell, this isn't to showcase, this is just me flinging stuff around and processing whatever wants to be processed. And it feels like afterwards, it just always feels so nice. It's like
Really,
it's like going to a yoga class or something. It's like you don't ever regret it. You never regret it. It's always time well spent.
I agree with everything you just said. And the one point that I really wanted to clearly express is that, and we were kind of talking about this before we turned the recording on, is altering the rules of a practice. Because for me, this is my meditation practice in many ways. And I like to call it a moving meditation because I am in motion and my eyes are open. But that's the thing, my eyes are open.
Mm-hmm.
They're open to the facets of my being. And then when I can take that sight, that open sight, and transfer it to a piece of paper, it's it's all kinds of different things. You know, it's a journey unlike any other. That, I mean, I still do my meditation. I still do my other practices that I really love. You know, somewhat follow my breath work. You know, when I can remember to do that one. Tapping sometimes, but this one for me is like the whole enchilada.
Yeah.
I can um, I can utilize this one, and it covers a lot of ground. You know what I mean?
Yes, it's
Um,
so layered.
yeah, it's strange. You can pretty much use it for any healing of any area that you care to heal.
Mm.
That's what I love about this process. Is not, you know, I like creating what I think to be, um, well, I was going to say beauty, but it's not always beautiful, to tell you the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's rugged, sometimes
Yeah.
it's raw, sometimes it could be a variety of different things. Um, However, it is always a healing practice,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what keeps me doing it. And also that's what got me to share it in the first place,
Mm-hmm.
is because the commitment to ourselves is so, so important. And even though this might not, it might seem like, well, you know, I have a whole bunch of commitments that I have to hold myself to. That may be true. But I think that there is so much importance into the commitments that actually feed your soul.
Yes, and I would
this
question,
one,
whoops, sorry to interrupt. I would just say, how many of those commitments are actually yours?
yeah, boy, in my world, that is a real question.
Because
You know,
this process, this is all mine.
yes, exactly. Which is a cool thing, because not everything you can say that about.
Yeah.
You know, not everything strikes you that way as wholly yours and your creative expression, and not with anybody else's rules and regulations and labels. Just you and your own learning and your own experimentation and your own diving deep into your own state of being.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a wonderful thing. Okay. So now I have actually, wow, that is pretty cool.
What you got going on?
Hold on, and I'll show you.
Okay.
Okay, so remember that sheet of paper that I had that I said was here is the foundation.
Nice. So you just Mod Podge that all on there, yeah? Sweet.
Yeah. Tore it into squares and then kind of like a puzzle, just Mod Podged it over what I was releasing. And now I will take my I like gesso gesso is a chalky white substance that will turn. The acrylic has a kind of a plasticky.
Your camera's flipped around.
Oh, of course it is. Why wouldn't it be? Okay, let's leave it that way for a second and watch this process. Because what I'm going to do here is I'm going to tone this down a bit and do that. I can't keep my hands out of this stuff. I'm really, really messy, creative. But I like to get into my work.
Nice.
Okay, so then we tone that down just a little bit. And it kind of turns into something different now.
Nice. Yeah,
you know?
totally.
Duck to my page.
Definitely got like a watercolor
Tone it down.
effect too.
Yeah. Tone it down just a little bit. And now it's ready for, you know, whatever's going to go on the top of it. But nice background colors and pretty vibrant platform to lay your thoughts and feelings and wishes on.
Yeah.
I like it. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I have to go pick my granddaughter up from school.
Nice.
I will see you all next time in the art room.
Your camera's
Matt,
flipped again.
Oh, man.
Marva, thank you so much for your time, for sharing this process with us. It is so much fun, and I'm excited to see what you've been inspired to share with us on this particular springtime edition of 30 Days of Creative Journaling. And if you're watching this, doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what you this is, we'd love for you to join us.
Yes, we would.
And Marva has created daily sessions with lots of good inspirations within that will complement this process. That's what it was, how it was designed. So the journey material is in the art room and will be available very, very soon.
Yes. So I hope you'll all join us there and have a wonderful day. And I'll see you all later in the art room.
Beautiful.
Bye, Matt.
Thank you. Love
Bye,
you.
Roxana. Bye, guys. Love you.
Bye-bye.